I'm in Blackpool, home of the Illuminations. 1 million lights, all running on green electricity, which makes it the perfect place to start a journey in an electric Volvo FL. I'm going to be taking this to London, and no doubt turning a few heads on the way. After all, electric trucks are still a relative novelty, but not for much longer. The UK government says by 2035 it wants every truck under 26 tonnes to be zero emission, and by 2040 everything above 26 tonnes. But how feasible is it? Because those are just words. For that to actually happen, a number of key things has to occur first. There's a definite wish list. Let me run you through it. First on the wish list is trucks. Lots of them and in numerous configurations. And in that respect, the truck manufacturers are starting to deliver. Whilst there's plenty of gaps in their product lineups, most do have at least one electric truck on offer. Now it's interesting to note that it's the old guard who have come to market first, not the startups. Where's that Tesla Semi we heard so much about in 2017? Now Volvo are more advanced than most. At the moment, you can take delivery of an EFL or an EFE. Next year, the EFM and EFH go into production, and in 2023, the EFMX construction trucks will start to be built. And you can order any of them right now. Number 2 on the wish list is range. We're going to need a lot more of it. Now this has a range of 150 miles and it's 250 miles to London, so we're going to have to stop at least once, and it takes 3 hours to charge this on a 50 kilowatt charger. Now don't get me wrong, 150 miles is perfectly adequate for an urban distribution vehicle which returns to base every night, but for long haul we're going to need a lot more. We're going to need a breakthrough in battery technology. Now it's interesting to remember that you go back 100 years or so and there was a bit of a Betamax versus VHS battle going on between electric and combustion engines, and of course combustion won. But just think what would have happened if electric had won and we'd had 100 and something years of battery technology improvements. Think where we'd be now. Number 3. Affordability. These things have got to become cheaper. Now electric trucks currently have an eye-wateringly expensive price tag. Something like this will be at least 3 times dearer than an equivalent diesel engine. Now I know prices will come down, but never to the same level as combustion engine trucks. And there's a reason for that. This, the battery. It's full of the same expensive metals the whole world is currently demanding. And that leads me neatly onto number 4, incentives, and the fact that there are very limited incentives at the moment. So the cost parity between diesel and electric vehicles is coming, but with the best will in the world, it's a good few years away. But that could change overnight if the government were to introduce a well-funded, well-thought-out incentive scheme. And now for the really big one, a decent charging infrastructure. So according to the SMMT, by 2025 we're going to need around about 2,500 truck chargers, and by 2030 over 8,000 of them. So here's a question for you. Of the UK's 111 motorway service areas, how many do you think currently have truck charging? You guessed it, 0. But that will change. And when it does, according to the National Grid, every motorway service area will need a 20 megawatt substation. That's massive. That's the same size as you need to power a mid-sized town. Last but not least on my list is green electricity. On Commercial Motor Magazine, we make a point of describing battery-powered vehicles as zero tailpipe emissions. Because unless they're running on green electricity, they're not zero emissions. And currently in the UK, less than 50% of our electricity comes from renewable sources. So you've heard the wish list. Now the question is, how do we make those wishes come true? Well, I think I know the man that could help.